that's a free education. I just appreciate that the university giving the opportunity just to get a free education. I see a lot of kids now, they're applying for applications and scholarships to go to these schools. And I'm like, man, these don't have to go through that. So I appreciate that a lot. So.
More here in a minute,
Matt, have they discussed using you in a 3-4 type set or changing their defense around at all? Because you're a little bit different than some of the guys they've had.
No, sir. They say mainly just playing the nose tackle there and just playing over the one. And they think I'm very athletic and I can play all over the defensive line. So not at the defensive end position, but mainly out to the 3 or 4 technique. So I appreciate what Coach Elliott and Coach Brumbaugh have been doing down there because they're great coaches and I feel like they're probably the best coaches in the nation. So.
over here, Matt.
Do you anticipate to go right in and play?
You say that again?
Do you anticipate to go right in and play?
I definitely anticipate to go in and play because, I feel like I'm bigger and strong enough that I can play in the SEC, but it's going to take a lot of hard work to get there. I need to lose some weight. I need to get in shape more. So there's a lot of things I need to work on, but I will definitely work on that before I get there.
Gentleman in the hat, Matt.
Matt, I'm sure you're familiar with Brandon Dedrick, aren't you? The State of Alabama.
Sir.
Did they approach you by his career there in trying to recruit you?
He definitely tried to recruit me, just saying like, he had the opportunity to go to UK, but then he picked Alabama just because of how they could set him up for the rest of their life and his life. So it definitely got in my mind, but it just came down to if you're good, you're good. And I found like number 1 draft pick, he didn't come from no big time program, so I feel like if you're good, the NFL scouts are going to see you. It's mainly about a team sport because football is ultimate team sport, but if you're good, you're good. So.
Yes, sir.
Matt, you talked about it a little bit, but just how close were you with the other commitments in general? Like, how good of friends did you get to become with those guys, and how important was that?
It's very important just to be comfortable because if you go to a new place and you don't really know nobody, it's kind of weird for you. And I feel like I definitely have a relationship with those guys and are just probably just insane because everybody talks about how just fast we clicked there. So I think that's something incredible because we all got the same mindset of how we just want to change the program and just get to the ultimate goal. So.
Right here, Matt.
Were you going to choose Kentucky at the All-American game?
I was unsure about that. That's why I mainly decided to wait, but I think it was probably a 60-40 chance you get. So.
Matt, how nerve-wracking has this whole process been, especially in the last 6-8 weeks? And is your emotion now more relief or excitement?
It's been crazy, but it is mostly relief now. But it's over, but then it's kind of crazy because it is over, and my phone's been blown up for a year, and just all this heckness is just coming to an end. So it's crazy. So.
Matt, how much was being close to home a factor for you? As far as being 1,000 miles away or whatever.
It wasn't really a factor like a lot of people might say because if I decide to go to Alabama, my mom said that she would definitely come down there and move down there. So just having that family support, I believe that my coaches, they would definitely come down there for some games. And I feel like sometimes that's what you need is to be away just to become a man. So, but I think UK is a perfect amount of time away that I can become the man that I need to be. So.
Here in front row, Matt.
You've talked a lot about the staff and your relationship with them. Could you have seen yourself picking Kentucky before Mark Stoops came
No,
to town?
sir, not at all.
Do you have a question, sir? Right here.
Yeah, you talked about getting in better shape. Is there like a specific number you're trying to get to before you get to UK?
No, sir. I just want to feel good about where I'm at and just weight-wise and just see how good a condition I am. I'm not just trying to set this goal, just get down there because, that's unrealistic. So they just saying whatever weight you come in, we're just going to wait. Just get you down to what they want you at. So.
Brett.
Matt, what are some of the reactions been like? What was Coach Stoops' reaction like when you first told him? What was Drew's reaction like?
I told Coach Stoops about 2 days ago. I told Drew yesterday. I was playing when I was like, I'm going to Bama. Please don't be mad. He was like, oh, I'm not mad. I'm going to support you wherever. I was like, nah, I'm just kidding. I'm going to UK. So he got excited. He was like, we got to change this thing. So I told him we definitely got to change this. And I feel like UK never had those great plays, and I feel like it's finally going to start coming to just them having the great plays that they need to get the program started.
Right here.
Saw you play Henry Clay at Lindsey Wilson College when you was a sophomore. Why? I had no idea anything about John Harden, but you kept on jumping out of me. I said, who is this guy? It's Matt Elam. Well, I didn't even realize you were a sophomore at the time. However, my question is that at that particular time, what's the difference in your weight now than there was then?
I feel like it's noticeable that I am bigger now, but I feel like I can still move at the time of playing at that game. So I feel like I got bigger and stronger. It's not just sloppy weight. I feel like it's more of a better weight, but I still need to get down because you can look in the NFL, you won't find a 3'6", 380 nose guard. That's just something I look into a lot. That it's just gonna help me out at the end of the day, just getting down. So.
Kent in the back.
Matt, what took from January 4th to today? You said 60% at that point. What got you the other 40% to Kentucky?
I would say definitely just being at 100% would just be my main thing. Because, like I said, I didn't want to go in unsure about new things and flip to a different school. I just wanted to be fully committed on the school.
What were the factors, though, that you were considering there that kind of pushed it over the top that made you know this is the right thing?
Just the relationships that I built at the University of Kentucky. So.
Matt, I don't know if you said, what was Coach Stoops' reaction? You told him 2 days ago, you said?
Yes, sir. He told me that he went crazy when he told me. He was like, I can't really say anything, but I just want to tell the whole world. And his wife came in there, and he was like, honey, I can't really tell you what he said, but he just went crazy to everybody. It was kind of funny. So I was like, Coach Stoops, I was like, you can just wait 2 more days. He was like, I've been waiting too long, man. Because you better hurry up and commit. I was like, yes, sir. I was like, just got to wait just a little bit more. So I love Coach Stoops. He's a great head coach.
Was that frustrating to him at all? Do you think they were like real excited 3 weeks ago that they were going to get you then, or I mean?
A little bit, because he told me, he was like, why didn't you want to? And it wasn't on just a pushing type level, but he was just like, wow. I was like, Coach, I did not feel comfortable. He understood 100%. So I just like that. He just understood where I was coming from.
Right here.
You're still about 6 days away from signing day. If Alabama's coach is Nick Saban called, what would you tell him if they were still trying to recruit you?
I would say just thank you for the opportunity. Just offer me a scholarship to play at the University of Alabama because a lot of kids, they don't get the opportunity to play there. But I would tell them that I'm just shut down the recruiting for good, and I'm definitely just 100% committed to the University of Kentucky.
Tom in the back.
Matt, did it help or hurt your process to see Kentucky struggle this year on the field?
No, sir, not at all. I didn't have this perception of just UK just changing immediately when Coach Stoops came because it's a program in the NCAA, D1 program. And the SEC, too. It's not hard to win the SEC. There was in like the ACC or something like that, I would say it's kind of easier just to build up a program fast. In the SEC, it's hard to win. So those teams are good. So I just appreciate the fact that Coach Stoops is giving us a chance and just trying to help out something that I really want to help out too. So.
Can you take us through the helmet thing? I mean, did you tell Drew, Coach Stoops about that? Like, how did you come up with doing the
I
helmet?
came up with this last night, actually. I was like, I want 2 helmets, but then Coach Davis and Coach Smart, they got stuck down in Tuscaloosa. So they couldn't bring the Alabama helmet. I was like, oh, man. I was like, this is going to look kind of silly. I don't think it looks that bad, but I just want a little bit something different. So I felt like that was different. So hope it looked good. So.
Any other questions?
They brought the helmet up to you yesterday?
I don't know.
Matt
I think Matt Jones. So.
Any questions for Coach Lewis? No?
Coach, how do you feel about Matt's decision and how quickly do you see him making an impact at that level?
You know, what I've told people all along is Matt's got to do what's best for Matt Elam. And, you know, he was pulled so many different directions, you know, throughout this past year. You should go here, you should go there. And the bottom line is he had to make that decision based on what was best for him. And he feels like he's more confident or more comfortable with Coach Stoops and that coaching staff there. He talked about those relationships that he built with University of Kentucky staff, and I feel like that is why ultimately he chose the University of Kentucky. What was your second question?
Second question, how quickly what kind of impact player and how quickly do you think Matt can make an impact?
Matt's touched on that, and you know that's the one thing that all of these college coaches have hounded on him about is his weight. And for Matt is effective at 380 for 2 or 3 plays, but to be able to play 30 or 40 plays in the game, he's going to have to get his weight down to around the 350 range to be effective. And to be able to play down in, down out, like they want him to. And of course, as most of you all know, in the SEC, they rotate their defensive line anyway. So he's going to be in a rotation, but they want him to be able to go at 100%, down in and down out. And for him to be able to do that, he's got to get himself in condition.
More in the back.
Matt, when you got to 100% and you were really sure, we're Warriors, did you start screaming? I mean, what hit you that you said, okay, I'm not 60-40, I'm now 100%? Take us through that moment.
I'm not really the screaming type, but it was kind of more of just being relieved about everything and just saying it's finally over, that I'm just 100% committed to that school. And it just felt good because the whole time I was just struggling to pick a school because, like you said, it's hard to turn down Alabama. It's crazy that I kind of did, but I just feel my heart is at the University of Kentucky, so that was the main thing. I just decided.
One more here in a minute.
Chad, just from your perspective, what did you, when Kentucky came in and you knew that Kentucky was going against Alabama and Ohio State and Notre Dame and Florida and Tennessee for Matt, I mean, were you ever skeptical that they would be able to get him in the end?
Oh, there's no doubt. I mean, the outside perception is you're going to a program who won 2 games last year, probably won similar games the year before. They've been last in the SEC East the last 2 or 3 years, and they were the underdog. Obviously, in this battle, especially when you're going up against the Alabamas, the Notre Dames, Tennessees, Ohio States, all the top-ranked teams in the country. And you sit here and you look at Kentucky. Well, for Matt, that pick there, probably doesn't even hit the radar for a lot of people. But ultimately, Matt wants to help his in-state program, and he feels like that, he can help with this class that Coach Stoops is bringing in. I'm sure you guys know, but I think this is the most 4-star, 4- and 5-star recruits that, 4-star recruits that UK has brought in ever, maybe in the history of the program. So, Coach Stoops is doing something right. And, he can't build this program in 1 year, and the way that the program was taken over, it was on a downhill slide. And it's going to take some time to rebuild it. And the way to rebuild a program is recruit the best players. And you have to go after the best players. And when you can land these type kids, your program's going to change. And you will see Kentucky over the next few years improve.
Take this question, one more.
I asked Matt sort of this, but from your perspective, you talk about perceptions coming into this. What does him and a guy like Drew picking Kentucky, how does it maybe change that perception?
Oh, there's no doubt with Matt, picking, the University of Kentucky, that could lead to future in-state recruits, staying in-state. You have your Lamar Dawsons who go out and go play for USC, and there have been other, top-notch players in the state of Kentucky who have not stayed in-state to play for their home school. And for Kentucky, with the state, the population is not near as big as your Floridas and Georgias and Alabamas. You have to keep your best kids in state to be able to even try to compete at the highest level.
One more question.
Matt, did Coach talk much about what he'd done at Florida State and any the pros that he developed there and setting them up and that they won the championship?
Yes, he definitely talked a lot about, mainly on the D-line too. He said that they had the most draft picks in the NFL last year. And he said that that's what they do the best is develop D-line. And those coaches, they can coach anywhere, but they decided to come to the University of Kentucky. And I feel like that's a difference in University of Kentucky now with the Joker Phillips staff. Me and Archer wasn't really considering them, but now with the coaching staff change, it just changed our minds a lot. And mostly for me, just that development of the D-lineman, it helps out a lot in recruiting. So I feel like it will help out a lot at the end of the day, just having that, the coaches that around just develop me to be the best player I can be. So.
Just one other thing is, what is it like having a conversation with Nick Saban, maybe having to turn Nick Saban down? Not very many people have ever done that, really. I mean, just
you're
like
right, not a lot of people have, and a lot of people might be surprised, but he's a great guy. I feel like he really cared about me. It's kind of sad that I had to turn him down, but it's a business decision. I feel like that's where my heart is, so I feel like he will definitely support me. He told me last night, he said wherever I go, that he will support me. I appreciate that for him because, he's a great coach and probably one of the best head coaches of all time, so I appreciate the words coming from him.
What did you say to those guys when they came today, and you kind of already had your mind made up, I assume?
Coach Thompson, he came in today because Coach Davis and Coach Mark, they couldn't get out. He just talked a lot about just making a smart decision. He's like, I'm not here to pressure you or anything, but he said, if you was a dad, and he was like, where would you tell your son to go? I was like, well, I'm going to really tell him nowhere to go. He's like, exactly. So that's why it's kind of hard for me, because I do this relationship with you. I'm not really telling you where to go, but it's like, then it's my job to kind of talk about our program, so it's just hard just coming from that and just having so much time and everything just invested in me, and it's just hard turning them guys down. I think that they will definitely support me at the University of Kentucky too. So.
All right, thank you all for coming. Appreciate